Okay, hi, my name is Mark and I'm with Xtreme Window Tinting, and I've been tinting since 1983. I was taught back in the beginning, it was almost a trial and error thing, because people were in the 80s when they learned how to tint, they were kind of greedy. And you ask them, hey, can I learn how to tint, or to show you the trade, and a lot of people were really close to it. I started getting into more flat glass in the 90s. I started looking at commercial buildings and going, is that tint? Why tint cars? I wonder what they did and how they did that. And I learned that there was a whole different species of film. Okay. I was like, wow, it was intriguing. I have really good luck with mobile. I mean, I'm out there prospecting and letting people know what I'm doing. I'm getting probably in excess of 8 to 10 calls a day. When you start, if you're educated on it and you start talking to them about it, and you start telling them basically what the purpose of it is, and the reason that people put films on their cars and homes and stuff like that anyway in their commercial buildings, most people that are very sensible start to go, wow, and it's intriguing for them too. Mm-hmm. And the more education you have on the subject, the better off you are. To answer your question, business is okay. We're doing decent. If we're in a recession, then that means you have to work harder. So I work harder every time I go out to do a job. If I'm doing a building, if I'm doing this building here, mm-hmm. I'll finish the building up and I'll prospect this whole street. Okay. And I'll let the neighbor across the street over there know that, hey, I just did your neighbor's home. Mm-hmm. Hey, I just did your neighbor's car. Or
how do you do this?
Pass the card out. Pass the card out. We'll just knock on the door. The thing is too, and reverting back to the recession, a lot of people are stuck in that, and so they're afraid to spend money. But you have every fifth prospect that you talk to, that will go, oh, really? You tint cars? Well, we were thinking about doing that, and then there's a new customer for you.
Is there anything else that you do to boost your sales except for knocking on doors and giving away business?
I have a guy that does door-to-door flyers. Oh. And I do that once a month. I usually take a run of 10,000 flyers, and I'll put them out there once a month.
Are there any other brands that you use except for Johnson's?
Just Johnson's.
Okay.
I live by it. It's just like, it's sort of, how can I say this nicely? It's almost like when you go out there and you see that the grass isn't greener on the other side. Mm-hmm. You come back. I've tried. I won't lie, Johnson's. I'm sorry, I have cheated on you in the past a little bit. Don't kill me. I've tried Suntech, and a lot of films don't really. And it's not really. It's the personal service. I mean, anytime that Johnson's is open, and I can call here and I can say, hey, to one of the representatives, I can say I've got a problem and I needed to ask you a question about it. And if I'm stuck, they'll help me out immediately. I had an incident where I had a Superior market, a big market, and I walked in there, and it's funny because when you're a lawman, you can walk in and you can sense trouble. When you're a fireman, you can walk in and sometimes you sense fire. When you're a tinter, when you do a certain trade, you walk in and you pick up on your sensors are on. So I walk into the Superior and I noticed everybody's kind of doing this, like the cashiers were all kind of doing that, and I walked in and I had my sensors up and I looked back at the windows and I said, okay, I see what their problem is. I said, okay, here, Deputy Mark on the job here, And I walk over and I said, who's the manager? And one of the girls squinted and she looked around, I was kind of laughing inside, and she says, oh, it's the guy down at the end of the liquor bar over there. So I went over and I talked to the manager. I said, hi. I said, you know what? I said, I walked in and I explained the whole thing to him. I told him about the sun situation, and he's looking at me kind of weird, and I thought I was already, kind of prepared to already go into phase 2 to try and close it. Because usually you have to be ready for the closed door. If you're in the field and you're selling, you're a salesman, you have to have at least 5 doors thick, because you're going to get the door slammed on you. You just got to keep opening the doors. He says, where'd you come from? He says, you're a godsend. And automatically, that just it just boosted me up to the highest. I was like 10 feet tall. I was looking down on top of him like, yeah, buddy, I was sitting there watching you, I mean, hey, I've been watching you all week, it gave me the confidence, you know what I mean?